Happy Thursday, everybody out there. This is Dylan Lang, and this is the Comic Haul, my weekly show where I showcase what comic books I got out this week. What I bought this week from the comic book store. Quite a lot that I wasn't hoping to get. I wanted to try to stay under budget, but the life of a comic book fan, you just hear the comics calling to you and you got to grab them. So went a little bit over budget this week. Also, I want to wish my son a happy birthday today. August 25th is when I filmed this. Comics came out yesterday, August 24th, but my son's birthday is August 25th today. He was 7 years old. He's up in bed now. He's had a pretty good day. I'll have another party on Saturday. That'd be great. Also, I have another show called Dylan Knows, where I talk about all kinds of stuff. And this week's actually is going to be about comic books also. So if you like this show, come back on Sunday, probably about 12 o'clock-ish, and we'll have a live broadcast of Dylan Knows with my co-host MJ Khan, and I will be talking all things comics, including Baltimore Comic-Con, which is coming up. So I highly recommend you check that out. And there's The Spirit. Yeah, pretty good. Francesco Francavilla. This is a con exclusive t-shirt. They got some really good con exclusives this year also. We'll talk a little bit about that near the end, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the comics. So without further ado, this week, real quick, these are the comics that I bought. Not necessarily all the books that are out. There are a ton of other books out that I didn't buy, which, you know, if I bought all of them, I'd be really drowning in debt. But here's my haul this week. This is my comic haul. As I said, a little bit more than I wanted to spend, by about $40 worth, but shh, we're not going to say anything about that. Anywho, let's get started with, as always, with DC. Their Rebirth, again, is going to be continuing all the way through, I think, September, October. So you're going to get new Rebirth books all the time, new books like that. So this week's Rebirth book is Blue Beetle #1. Blue Beetle Rebirth #1. It's written by Keith Giffen with art, and Scott Collins did the story as well. Giffen did the script, and Scott Collins did the artwork. So it's the new Blue Beetle, who appeared in the regular DC universe and then had his own book in the New 52 also. But in this case, he gets to team up with Ted Kord, the original Blue Beetle. So Ted Kord is alive in this era, and he is teaming up with Jamie Reyes, who is, I guess, Hispanic in that case, and is your new Blue Beetle. It looks interesting. Blue Beetle's been one of those that sort of has been under the radar for me. It's one of those that, we'll see. I got to cut down, but we'll see. But I wanted to buy the Rebirth just to check it out. I think it looks good. Keith Giffen's got a good track record, and Scott Collins, actually, his artwork looks a lot better than it did when he was working on The Flash. So maybe he's cleaning it up a little bit. So just some more, pretty artwork that I like from it. So it should be interesting. And again, it's like, trying to diversify their comics. The main character is Hispanic, so that's good about that. So after you have a Rebirth like this, usually your new issue #1s will come out. Some cases, some are bi-weekly, some are monthly. I'm still in the air. I know some that are bi-weekly, but I'm not quite sure what all of them are. But I got a couple of #1s for you. Again, this one I really wasn't going to pick up, but Christopher Priest is just calling out for me. It's Deathstroke #1. Did Rebirth a couple weeks ago, but the issue #1 came out this week. Christopher Priest is one of the best writers we've had in comic history, and he hasn't really done all that much lately. But now he's back, and Carlo Pagulileon is penciling. Sorry, and Jason Paz is the artist, as the inker on this. So, there's TikTok, and let's see if we can get a good. You get a little bit of hoochie coo, making out with people. Oh, he had some sexual intercourse, but we're not going to talk about that right now. And there's Deathstroke. It's just a really great costume, and Deathstroke I think is made an appearance in Arrow or might be making an appearance in Arrow. So we'll see, actually. So Christopher Priest might keep me coming back on this one, but this wasn't one that I really was going to pick up, but I figured it's a number one. I figured I'd check it out. I'll read it. I'll find out for sure. But Christopher Priest, yeah, he keeps calling to me. I was like, maybe I should go. This one I know I'm not going to probably get after issue number one. I just got it because I like the DC supernatural characters. This is Hellblazer number one. I've never been a real big fan of John Constantine, but I had to get issue number one. I mean, this is a nice John Cassaday cover. And it's written by Simon Oliver with artist Moritat, who I like Moritat, but it's just something about Constantine I just don't like. But the fact that drew me back into that was that it is an aspect of the DC universe that is woefully under not performing, but is not being seen too much. There's Swamp Thing in that as well. So Swamp Thing doesn't have his own series. They're going to team him up, I guess, with Constantine, which is fine. One of the things I did like about the New 52, I've been put on record as saying I wasn't a big fan of the New 52, was Justice League Dark, which was the team up of all these, Constantine I could handle because he was playing off of Zatanna and Black Orchid and Deadman and all the Swamp Thing and all the characters like that. So I like that for them. Plus, got a great support, great writers and artists on it. So, as I said, this is probably gonna be the last Hellblazer you're gonna see. It's a number one. I figured I'd pick it up. It's got Swamp Thing in it. We'll see. Maybe if he starts delving more into more of the supernatural, because I love Deadman is one of my favorite characters, and Zatanna is one of my favorite characters. So if he delves into those, we'll see. They should bring back Justice League Dark. They really should. And Mikel Janin should be back as the artist on that. But that's just me. So those are the number ones that came out this week. So if you're interested in getting into comics, these are three good starter ones, Rebirth and the number ones. You might be able to find the Rebirth for Hellblazer and Deathstroke. They probably came out recently. I think Deathstroke came out a couple weeks ago. So Deathstroke might be bi-weekly. So if it is, I don't know if I can afford that. Another one, I know I'm not going to get Hellblazer anymore. But one I am extraordinarily excited about, because I love Wally West, is Titans, number 2. I read the Rebirth. I love the Rebirth. I read issue 1. Loved issue number 1. It's got great artwork by Brett Booth, and I think Dan Abnett's doing a good job of writing this up. And Brett Booth is doing really, you might not like his artwork, but I like it. And the fact that you get, Aqualad and he's not Kid Flash anymore. He's Wally West Flash, Nightwing, and Donna Troy, and Arsenal, and Omen the Psychic. It's Tempest the Atlantean. It's not Aqualad, but it's just really nice artwork. Oh, and there, Tim, is that Tim Drake? Yeah, Tim Drake popping in here. So I don't know what's going on here. Oh, they're going up against themselves. So that's another iteration of it. Dan Abnett's writer, Brett Booth's penciler, Norm Rapmud is the inker. So Abracadabra is the bad guy, and he's an underused villain as well. So I'm really excited for Titans. I can't wait to read this issue. So I'll pick that up. So as I said, you can probably pick up Titans Rebirth, and Titans number 1 probably might still be out at your store right now. So you go ahead and pick those up, and then pick up number 2 as well. I read this one the other night, and I actually enjoyed it again. They've been doing a really good job with the female characters. This is Batgirl number 1. Try to get it real close there, because it's a really nice yellow cover with some pink in there. Barb's in Japan, and it's written by Hope Larson with art by Raphael Albuquerque. And so Barb is investigating, taking on Japanese characters and villains and old heroes, and has an old friend from high school is in the creative team as well. I hope they don't force it into a relationship, but it's nice to have a friend, but you never know, because here they are in Infinity Pool together, and looking over Tokyo. So you gotta love Japan. If you've never been to Japan, oh, they're kissing. So they're gonna try to push a relationship on them. Lasai. Oh well. There's nothing wrong with Barb having a relationship. So Batgirl's pretty good. I read the first issue, and I read the Rebirth, and I like him a lot. So I like it a lot. haven't read this yet because I'm still not a huge fan of Hal Jordan, but Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps #3. I'm a big fan of the Green Lantern Corps, and this may become a casualty soon. We'll see. Because the Green Lanterns with Simon, Baz, and Jessica is knocking it out of the park, and I really enjoy it. But there's no Guy Gardner, and there's no John Stewart in that one. So we get them in this one, and they're taking on the Yellow Lanterns, whereas the Simon and Jessica are taking on the Red Lanterns. So at least the other Lanterns are still around. It's written by Robert Venditti, who did a really good job of taking over for Jeff Johns. Art by Rafa Sandoval with inks by Jordi Tarragona. Okay, this is not a bad page. I like that little guy underneath Hal. It's really kind of cool. But you know, there's something about Hal Jordan I just don't like. Making him be the savior du jour of everybody and everything kind of pisses me off a little bit. There's our boy Sinestro. Artwork looks good. We'll wait and see. I haven't read any of them yet, but it's the Green Lanterns. I've always loved Green Lantern. And there's something about Hal Jordan I just don't like. But when they introduced all the different colored rings, I like them. So Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps #3 is out. That's a bi-weekly, so you might want to get caught up on that quickly because they're probably going to have the Rebirth and 1 and 2 out of your local store soon. Wonder Woman #5 came out this week. It's also bi-weekly and has been knocking it out of the park also. It's very interesting that I guess Frank Cho, who is no longer doing the covers for Wonder Woman, still has a few covers out there. This is a Frank Cho cover, and it's a pretty nice looking one. What they're doing with this, Greg Rucka's writing the series. He's writing the hell out of it. He's doing a really good job, and Liam Sharp is the artist on this version. What Greg Rucka is doing is he's taking the bi-weekly book that he has and dividing it up in half. So 1 week you have Wonder Woman present day, which is what this one is. And then 2 weeks later, when the next issue comes out, you get a Wonder Woman Year 1 story with art by Nicola Scott, still written by Greg Rucka. Then 2 weeks later, you get the next part of the storyline that's going on in present day with Liam Sharp artwork, and Greg Rucka still writing everything. So Liam Sharp's doing a really good job with the artwork. Nicola Scott's always doing a wonderful job with it. Greg Rucka is writing the hell out of it, and it's a very interesting series, and I like it. I like it a lot. So Wonder Woman #5 is exactly what I thought it would be. When Greg Rucka was announced he was going to write, I was like, got to pick it up. I did, and I've been enjoying it immensely. Next up is Flash #5. I've always liked the Flash also. There was always something about Barry that rubbed me the wrong way because I like Wally, but now that Wally is back, Barry is getting okay. The New 52 Barry was pretty good for a while there, and I started reading the Flash because I hadn't been caught up on it yet. And no, he's got a new girlfriend. Nice. It's written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by Felipe Watanabe and inks by Andrew Curry and Delaire Albert. So let's see if I can get it closer up there. Some nice, good stuff as well. So I got to start reading more of the Flash. I read the Rebirth issue. I liked it a lot, and they're introducing some new speedsters. So we'll see how that goes as well. So I'm going to probably get caught up on that as well. So this is Flash #5. So hopefully I'll get Cautious comes out. I'll be all caught up and we'll be set. The last 2 Rebirth books we have are when Rebirth started. These are the only 2 that went back to their old numbering, and they're the ones that should have because they were the first books by DC ever did. Action Comics. This is Action Comics #962. Again, this was when I was the Dan Jurgens writing was pulling me in, but there's something about it I just wasn't that interested in it. Patrick Zurcher is usually the artist on this, but because it's bi-weekly also, he needs a break too. So Steven Segovia is doing the pencils, and Art Thibbert's inker, and he's Art Thibbert's one of the best inkers out there right now. So Stephen Segovia is a good good artist as well, and you get him team over. I probably got to get caught up on Action also, because Superman itself, the comic, is really, really good. And with Dan Jurgens writing Superman, he's always written Superman really well. It's a good Wonder Woman by Stephen Segovia and Art Thibbert. So it's just that they brought what's his name, Doomsday in, and made Lex Luthor also be Superman, which is kind of interesting, and regular Superman, and we'll see what happens. So well, we'll see what's going on. And so Dan Jurgens is writing it. Dan Jurgens is, been around for a long time, has written Superman for a really long time also, so can't go wrong with that. And finally, the other one is Detective Comics, number 939, which is also doing a really good job. James Tynion IV is writing it. It's more of a Batman team book, where Batman it's written by James Tynion IV with art by Eddie Burrows, and Eber Ferreira is doing the inks. It's more of a team book where you've got Batwoman and Batman teaming up with Robin, Tim Drake Robin, Stephanie, the Spoiler, and Clayface is in there as well. I feel like I'm missing someone. Oh yeah, and the other girl who was Batgirl, whose name I always keep forgetting about. But I should get caught up on Detective too, because James Tynion is writing the hell out of it from what I've heard. And the team book concept is really good. And the fact that you have a Batman family book is fun, is a good one. So that's it for the Rebirth books. Now this is the last DC book I have is a very interesting book. And I'm never going to give this up despite the $4.99 price tag on it, because it's a quirky little book. And I like it a lot. Basically, if you're looking for like a team-up book that's a little bit different, this is one you want to get. It's quarterly, basically. I think it's quarterly because I've only picked up. There's only been 4 issues, and I've been collecting these for a few months now. So a couple months now. This is Harley's Little Black Book. Maybe it's bi-monthly. I don't know. This is number 4. Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, who write the regular series, also write this, and he gets a bunch of other people to come in and do the artwork for him. In this case, he's got Billy Tucci, Joseph Michael Linsner, and Flaviano doing stuff. And as I said, it's like a team-up book now. In this case, Amanda Connor does the covers. In this case, Harley is teaming up with the Harley Quinn from the Bombshells. If you haven't read Bombshells, you really should. That's a good book also. Now, the reason why you haven't seen any Bombshells comics is because I'm still behind on it. I got the first 2 trades, and then I got to get caught up on those. And hopefully when I go to Baltimore Comic-Con, I'll be able to pick up the issues I need to fill in. I'll be able to get caught up because it's a great series. Margarita Bennett's doing a really good job. But in this case, Harley goes back in time, or time travels, and or jumps dimensions, and teams up with the Bombshells, which are 1940s superheroines who do this stuff. But you've got Zatanna. Oh my God, this is a beautiful, beautiful shot of Zatanna. And it's a fun book. The last issue had Harley team up with Zatanna, who I love, drawn by Joseph Michael Linsner. The second issue had Harley teaming up with Wonder Woman, and the first issue had Harley teaming up with Green Lantern. It's a fun book, and I really, really, really like it a lot. And it's basically, if you're looking for a team-up book, even if you're not a big fan of Harley Quinn, I mean, this is such a great book. And it's so different than what you're used to. And you never know what you're going to get. I know. To paraphrase Forrest Gump, you never know what you're going to get. So just trying to see if I can get an idea. I guess there's really nothing coming out. Let's see, 2 weeks would be... I don't know, because I'll tell you what I'm talking about in a second. So... Harley's Little Black Book, number 4, definitely pick it up. They're pretty self-contained, so you don't need to have read the first 3 to get this. Pick this up. Look at the gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And then, on top of that, get get the Bombshells trades that are out now because it's really good. So definitely pick that up. So that's it for DC. Marvel helped me in that time frame where DC was still kind of struggling towards Rebirth, and Marvel had just gotten off of Secret War, so there was a bunch of #1s and new series that I was trying to get caught up on. And I read some of them, but then life changed, and then Rebirth hit, and DC has always been my favorite recently anyway. So Marvel's been starting to slowly away. So I only got 3 Marvels this week. They're in the middle of another one of their asinine crossovers. There's another thing why I don't like them, but I'm still picking up these. This is Civil War II, the Ulysses #1. Civil War II is still going on. They do the Civil War miniseries. It crosses over into regular series, and they also do these miniseries. Now, Ulysses is the Inhuman who's able to tell the future about where crimes are going to be committed, stuff like that. This issue is written by Al Ewing. Carl Kesel does the layouts. Jeff Hefte Paulo is the artist. So it's a look, in this case, is a look at the Inhuman which is who Civil War II is basically all about, as him. And they're trying to figure this out. So this is going to be probably a 3-issue series or whatever. A lot of these miniseries are between 3 to 5 issues. This very well could be 5 issues also. I just don't know. But again, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to pick up, but I had to pick up Ulysses at least #1 just to see what's going on with it. So Civil War, if you're into Marvel, stuff like that, you might like that, and the Inhuman, stuff like that. I said they've been crossing over into regular comics. Now, this surprised me because I don't remember seeing this as being an extra-sized book in previews, but Steve Rogers, Captain America #4, which is a Civil War II crossover. Let's see if I can get the lighting. There we go. Is a double-sized issue. It's written by Nick Spencer with art by Javier Pina and Miguel Sepulveda. It's still going on with the whole Captain Hydra storyline, where he is under the influence of Hydra right now while being undercover as Captain America. So that storyline is going on right now. So hopefully that'll get wrapped up soon. But it's been an okay book. After the shocker of the ending of him being evil, it's now eventually someone is going to have to reveal what's going on. But this is a double-sized issue, so if you've been following it, be aware this is a double-sized issue. It's $4.99, and that took me by surprise. So, oh well. There's been a lot of casting news and directing news about one of the next Marvel movies, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel comic #8 is out now. Civil War crossover 2. Looks like Christos Gage and Ruth Fletcher Gage wrote this, with art by Chris Anka and inks by Chris Anka with Andy Owens. My wife reads Captain Marvel religiously, has read every issue since I've been buying it for the last couple years or so. So she's really caught up with Captain Marvel. It's one of her favorite characters. And get some Black Panther in there and some Spider-Man and Miss Marvel and stuff like that. So some Hawkeye. Captain Marvel is one of the main antagonists of Civil War II. So it's good, and she's getting a lot of press now because they cast Brie Larson in the film, and now they're talking to directors, and she might appear in Avengers: Infinity War, stuff like that. So it's all good. So Captain Marvel, keep picking that up. Finally, we've got Independence. There's a bunch of Independence that surprised me this week. I wasn't going to pick up, but I decided, may as well. And so we'll see if that'll add to it. This one is Kingsway West. It's from Dark Horse Comics. It's got nice artwork. It's written by Greg Pak with art by Mirko Kolak, and it's really, really good artwork. It looks like it's a combination of like a samurai, Western type of story. So, medieval stuff, kind of a whole amalgam of things. So that's the main reason why I picked it up. It looked good. And then Greg Pak has a really good pedigree writing-wise, and the artwork is just gorgeous. And then, of course, you have all this stuff, and now you got a futuristic ship as well. So it's got everything you want in a book, and this is going to probably be really, really good. So Kingsway West #1 is out. Pick it up today. This one I picked up on a whim. I probably shouldn't have, but the idea alone, I just had to get it. This is Godzilla Rage Across Time. It's basically Godzilla as he rages across time. So in this case, it's written by Jeremy Robinson with art by Matt Frank. We look at how Godzilla affected feudal Japan in 1274. And there's Ghidorah. And there's Godzilla in the style of the old Japanese type of thing. So, you know, I had to, just because it's a time travel Godzilla, you know, as he goes across time. So that was, you know, his first stop was feudal Japan. Next issue, he's in ancient Greece. So I might have to keep picking this up because Godzilla Raging Through Time, it's almost up there with Godzilla in Hell, which I need to pick up also. I got to probably pick the trade up when I get a second. But it's Godzilla Raging Through Time. It's such a great idea. I don't know why anyone else hasn't thought of it. This one's another great idea, and I just picked it up on a whim. And I don't know if it's kind of thin for $3.99, but it is an independent. And it's fully painted. It's werewolves. It's American Mythology Dark: Werewolves versus Dinosaurs, #1. Yes, werewolves versus dinosaurs. It's stories by Chris Sculf and Eric Dobson, and I guess that's the story and artwork. Oh, hey, my old boss, James Kahoric, and J.C. Vaughn, another one of the people I used to work with, Mike Wolf. Yeah, so they actually has a pedigree with some people I used to work with at Diamond. So fully painted artwork is always interesting. Yeah, werewolves versus dinosaurs. Where's the dinosaur? There he is. So it's werewolves versus dinosaurs, #1. Next up is ROM #2. ROM was a Marvel property for a while, and then they lost the rights to it, and now it's back on IDW. This is actually covered by Bob Layton, and it's really nice looking. ROM is written by Christos Gage and Chris Ryle, with pencils by David Messina and inks by Michael Pasta. IDW was one of my accounts when I was a brand manager, so it's good to see them succeeding. And I know Chris pretty good, so when I worked for Diamond, I talked to him a bunch of times, and I had lunch with him once and stuff like that. So it was good. So it's good to see him working on this. And Dave Messina has been around IDW for a long time as well. So it's ROM, you know, and futuristic robot, you know, nostalgia, aliens. Gotta love it. So it's ROM #2. Again, I wasn't going to pick this one up because of the expense, but it's the X-Files. X-Files #5. I love this cover. It's written by Joe Harris with art by Andrew Curie. It's continuing the storyline that's going on with it right now, and called Ishmael. So this is the X-Files. It is based after the miniseries that came on earlier this year. So, you know, IDW did have a X-Files comic series, took place after the original series. This one is the one that takes place after the limited series. 2 more, and then we're going to call it a day because my stomach's starting to get really achy. Valiant Comics has been doing some good stuff lately. And again, this one I just picked up just for the heck of it. It looked pretty good. It's Generation Zero #1. It's written by Fred Van Lent with art by Francis Portela. And it's just about a bunch of, you know, young people with powers who go around and, you know, try to solve crimes and stuff like that and take care of things. So it's not connected to the Valiant universe that I know of right now. So if you haven't been following what's been going on in the other Valiant comics like Ninjak and Eternal Warrior and stuff like that, you will not be lost. So yeah, pick it up. Why not? And finally, I read the first issue of this. I loved it. I'm glad number 2 is out now. It's Faith, number 2. This is in the regular Valiant universe. It's written by Jody Hauser with art by Perry Perez. And Marguerite Sauvage is the flashback artist. And it's a, I hate the term, but it's true. It's a plus-size superheroine. And she's smart and funny and snarky. And she's really good superhero, and it's fun to see her taking on bad guys and kicking ass and doing all kinds of stuff. So again, you probably don't need to really know what's going on, though you might want to, but it is connected to the Valiant universe in general because she's a member of the Harbinger. So that's it for the haul. Next week is probably going to be a lighter than usual one, and depending on what I get, I might not do a haul because 5th weeks tend to be very light when it comes to comics. But if DC is still doing its bi-weekly stuff, there's probably going to be some DCs out there, and who knows what else. So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, next week will be a light week. I'm just telling you that because it is a 5th week. Baltimore Comic-Con is in 2 weeks. It's Labor Day weekend. Come on down to Baltimore. They got a ton of guests. I'll be going over all the guests and talking about it more in depth on Sunday at 12 o'clock on Dylan Knows. So if you want to learn more about the Baltimore Comic-Con, you can go to their website, find out. There's a ton of guests, a ton of huge guests. And I'll be talking about it on Sunday with my co-host MJ Khan on Dylan Knows, Sunday about 12 o'clock. So we'll talk other comic stuff as well. So that's it for the haul. I got to get out of here because my stomach is killing me. Happy birthday, Tim Burton. Your Batman Returns were pretty good. Your Superman probably would have been terrible, but who knows. Take care.